our new co-host, soon to be Dr. Leticia, and we want to start the show with a prayer. You want to, and this is a prayer treatment. So I'm just gonna dive right in, okay? No, we're supposed to be here at 2 and it is 2:35, but we are on divine time, just so that you know. All right. Divine God self of my being, who lives at the center of my mind, into your presence I speak these words. Possess my body, possess my mind as I go about my daily business. I know that ultimately my daily business is in truth. Your daily business, for I am created to be an individualized expression of your infinite presence. Gladly, therefore, I turn over my body and mind to you. No, I lose nothing but gain my own true self, reality through your presence, living in me. For this I give thanks, and so it is.
So it is.
So I want to go a little bit into the prayer because it's very important because words are powerful, and it's important that people are comfortable with the words that they hear and they speak. So for me, I'm aware that God is not some individual sitting in the sky that's judging us, that God is a moving, living force, it's a life force that's within all of us. So I'm basically, by saying this, I'm speaking to that divine part of myself. I'm not speaking to something outside of myself. So I'm just asking that divinity basically to take over all parts of me. And I just wanted to clarify that for my listeners and for everybody, so that they have that clarity for themselves. Because that same divinity is also inside of you. We all have divinity inside of us. So, soon to be Dr. Leticia.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me be here. Well, actually, I'm gonna be here now.
From
now, like I'm a guest, on the show. Thank you for having me here.
She's not a guest because she's
I'm
the co-host.
happy to be here with all of you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with our soul tribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell the world about yourself.
All right, so I'm born and raised in New York City, lived your typical life, first generation American actually. Parents are from the Dominican Republic, came here to give their children a better life, went to school in Manhattan, and then from there, I pursued a career in sales and marketing. I was in sales and marketing for about 17 years.
Okay.
And
wow.
Yeah. Just about 17 years.
That's a while.
It's a while. I actually started off as an assistant to the VP, I think it was, and then from there I moved into office assistant. Actually it was the opposite. Office assistant to the VP, to operations manager, to then sales, which is where I ended my career there about when I started my awakening journey, actually. Well, it's always been a journey, but consciously was in 2021. I think we just spoke about my official awakening moment. And that's what led me here. After that, I had so many questions. I needed to understand what is this spiritual world, where does this lead us? I needed answers, and I dove head first. I ended up in a retreat in Sedona, which was amazing.
I love it. I want to go there so bad. It's been calling me so bad.
Yes, it just changed everything for me because I realized there's so many other people out there that are awake, and Sedona is a whole city in itself with just people who are awake, and it was just such a loving and beautiful place, and the Red Rock backdrop, it was amazing. Well, hello, whoever's here with us. My guys, your guys, yes, they're confirming.
Yes, they are.
That just happened out of nowhere. And we have confirmation. There's obviously spirit here with us today.
That's right.
So after
it's
that,
a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing, right? And then after that, I was looking for more answers, and through my research in YouTube, I bumped into Dolores Cannon's work, which she invented QHHT, which stands for Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And you can basically uncover the memories of your past lives, and it also has so many healing benefits, and you can get answers to a lot of your life questions. And I said, okay, hold up there. You need to tell me that there's a way to get proof of of previous life, that we incarnate, that we come back here. So immediately I looked up, I went on Dolores's website, and I found this amazing human being, Angie, who did my first session. And from there, she actually, during our session, she actually did say to me, oh, I feel like maybe you'd be good at this. I didn't think anything of it because I never think I can do anything, excuse me. And I just kept it in the back of my mind, and I did it, and for sure, I saw myself as a man in a past life, getting married to a woman on the beach. I saw myself as a woman in another past life, christening my son, amongst a little bit of darkness, some other things that I saw that I wasn't prepared for. After that, I realized, like, whoa, like this is real. Like it's just like closing your eyes and remembering what you did yesterday, like having visions of that is exactly the same way. And several months after that was when I was questioning, when I let go of everything, I decided I wanted to escape the matrix. I wanted to be on my own, like be my own boss. I always felt like I was not supposed to be reporting to anybody.
Gotcha.
Maybe I just don't like to be bossed around, unless you're my man.
That part.
But I just knew, like, I don't know, there was a different calling for me, and I heard God's calling, and I followed, and I'm also studying with the University of Metaphysics for my PhD in metaphysical counseling.
I call her Dr. Letty already.
Yes. She gasses my head up all the time.
It's the truth.
Yes. Mind you, I just met this wonderful young lady not too long ago, and it's like we've known each other forever. Hence, we've already started our podcast. I mean, if this is not alignment, to be able to just connect with somebody and immediately just get the ball rolling on stuff. So, it's been a pleasure. It's been amazing, and I just can't wait to embark on the rest of this journey.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I honestly, when I originally created the SupaTea podcast show, it was a safe space that I created for myself because I didn't feel like I could express myself fully to the people that were in my life, and I needed to fully express myself. Like I couldn't keep it in no more. It was coming out like, okay, I can put it in a song. Okay, I can do that, but I needed to just speak, just unapologetically, just whatever, however I'm feeling, and be well received. Because it always comes from a place of love, but I can't control how other people interpret it, So I started doing it just audio, and just like however my spirit moved me is how I would go and how I would do it, so I have been on this journey for a while, and it has sometimes felt very lonely.
Yes.
And I have been calling for my tribe, like, when is my tribe? And it's good to finally be with my tribe, and I'm just so appreciative and grateful.
Same here. Yeah. Absolutely.
I get regular goosebumps, people.
Yes, because every time we talk, just like when you started speaking, I don't know if you saw me go like this when you said safe space. The YouTube channel that I started, I already worked on the banner, I already have the about section, literally says safe space.
Really?
Yes. I wanted it to be a safe space for people. So I'm like, Jesus, we just keep aligning so much and so many things.
Yes, everything. So,
so when did your journey officially start? I mean, I know we're always on this journey, but when did you consciously become aware?
I dove deep in about 14 years ago, where my youngest child passed away, because there was literally nobody to give me answers, and I needed answers. I need to know why this happened to me, number one. I'm on the PTA, I'm volunteering in the community, I'm a great mom, I got away from an abusive husband, I sacrificed for my children. What was happening, And people were telling me weird stuff, like people from churches were telling me weird stuff. I even had the lady, no lie, who's the president of the PTA board, tell me that God was mad at me. And when she told me that, I was like, no way I want to serve the God that you're serving.
Seriously.
Because why would God, for what?
God is not punished that way.
For what?
Yeah.
And so I just went deep within. So I started initially going to spiritual places like botanicas, which I feel like I've always had a curiosity, but I was very scared because how I was raised. I was raised in Jehovah's Witnesses, my background, and it was like that's of the devil, that's evil, you know. So I was very fearful of it, but I needed to have some type of answers. And I spent a lot of time alone. And I remember like going through the process. Sometimes I would wake up because I went into war zone like immediately because I had to fight for my son, and that was a whole ordeal, like fighting with the city and going back and forth because I was in foster care. They just saw me as just, oh, you're just a black girl that was in foster care. You got nobody, so we can do whatever we want with you. We can tell you anything, which they did tell me things that I thought were true, which I found out weren't true. You know, when I found that weren't true, and I stood up for myself, maybe too verbally aggressively, because I was telling them shit like, I'm gonna sue you and you don't have no right. And they were looking at me like, yeah, well, we got your son, and we're gonna keep him until you do what we tell you to do, type shit. You know, and it didn't click because I was in grief and I was in war mode. But then it finally did click. And when it did click, when I tell you when it clicked, because they were like, go to parenting class, and I was like, for what? And I was just like, no, why? I'm a great mother, you know?
Well,
and
they were trying to blame you for it?
yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. And unfortunately, when my son was away from me, he went through some more horrible experiences. So it just made it even worse, you know? However, when it clicked to me, like, just play the game, I didn't even go to a class. I literally met somebody, told them what was going on, and they were like, I know somebody. And they just literally gave me the certificate, which I took to them, and they sent him back to me, and because that's all they wanted to justify, I guess, something. I don't know what they were justifying, but that's what they wanted. They got the certificate, he came back, and he was damaged, and I didn't realize he was damaged, and I've been fighting, but my spirituality has been my anchor, tremendously my anchor, because there's been so many times where I just felt like I can't do it, but something like the divinity literally comes and empowers me and allows me to continue going forward. And I just started just really getting more in tune. So it's been some time. It's been some times, and there's been some hills and some valleys, you know. I did some awesome stuff. Actually, 2021, I opened up a cafe, but called Matcha Madness Cafe.
Look at that. So you had the cafe and also the crystal shop? Or were
The
they two of the
crystal
same?
They were the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but of course I had a brick wall, you know, and I just would not conform to how people do things, like the normal way of doing things, the normal business practices. I wouldn't conform to that. It's like something has to push me from the inside, and I have to do things as ethically as possible. You know what I mean? And I tried to operate like that with the person I rented this shop from. I rented the space from. I rented the commercial space, not the shop. I created the shop, like literally. I was painting, I was putting together my counters and all type of shit. My floors, even though I got the tiles, I think from Home Depot. They were just the stick-on tiles. They weren't like the official sand tiles. They was the tiles that you take the sticker off and stick them on the floor. Like, I did all of that shit. And then, it was cool. I got great reviews, by the way, but then I fell behind, you know, because I wasn't getting a lot of sales. You know, my timing was a bit off and things of that sort. Plus, I was doing everything on my own. I did not have a marketing friend like this right here. I haven't met her yet, but we are reopening, so
Yes.
Stay tuned. It'll be better next time.
Which one of our co-hosts, actually, one of the things that she's into is crystals also. That's something that she's always resonated with.
Nice.
Someone here today.
We are. Really.
Yes.
And she'll be here next week because we're just gonna put it out there. Everything is gonna align itself well and flow well, and it's gonna be great. Yeah, I have 2 new co-hosts.
Yes. The other one happens to be Rosie, who happens to be my cousin.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll be joining us, but she lives in Pennsylvania. She's in another state, so
yeah.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, she was not able to make it today, but she will be here next week.
And she definitely was efforting people. I felt so bad because I'm like, damn. So it's everything happens for a reason, you know. So we're glad that she's safe where she is, and she's great, and her family's great. So yeah, We'll see her next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's when my journey started, and that's how it started. It was like something very catastrophic that drew me straight into the spiritual world because I knew like something wasn't right with what people were telling me.
Yeah, I know. It was like when I first woke up, it was a rude awakening. I just, it really was. Like, I just, when that veil is on, it's on. Because I got a whole new set of eyes, a new brain, a new way of thinking, a new way of functioning. I went into self-help mode also. I realized that I never wanted to be a better person more than after, like, all I wanted to do was please God. I wanted it to be worthy. And it was just, it was one of those things where I realized that it all had to come with an ego check. I had to check a couple of things that I have to be aware of because, you know, as God is and allowed me to see some of the beauty that I can see in myself, allowed me to see myself for who I really was, even if it meant that I had to see the ugly inside of myself. So I struggled with arrogance. I had to always be right about shit, and that was, excuse my language,
No,
that was something that Rosie,
it's not for kids.
our other co-host, yes, but we need to be mindful of getting flagged.
Oh,
Yeah.
they know more about this shit than me. The first flag, people.
Right.
Normally I'm just doing audio and it's like on Spotify. Continue.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
We talking about
Oh yeah, wait.
you were saying that always had to
Check me. She was one of the first people to check me. She's like, yes. That it's okay to agree to disagree. Like it was also one of the first moments of awareness where I had like, why do I always have to try to prove it? It's like I couldn't let things go unless I got you to agree with the way I saw things. And I had to come to terms with the fact that we all have different, brains, we all have different chemical, same chemicals, but things function differently. The way my brain thinks and the way you, my perception is my reality, your perception is your reality, and I have to understand that and pick and choose my battles. Check my arrogance, check my anger. I had anger, terrible anger issues, and thanks to finding my relationship with the divine and being on this journey, I've been able to check that. It still comes out on occasion, but she's trying. I'm able to like, whoa, horsey, come down a bit.
I think it's healthy to express your emotions. You know what I mean?
It
you
is.
just have to
Healthy way though.
Yeah, exactly.
You've not seen that of me.
But I know her.
Yeah.
I gotta hear to know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so I had anger issues. Ask my siblings, ask my parents. So, I mean, I had to check that, but you know, it was awakening was with myself, with some things, you know, I struggled with body image, with my weight issues growing up. There were so many things that I couldn't. And then for the first time, I remember looking in the mirror and actually like saying to myself, is that me? Like I saw myself for the first time afterwards, and it was just like it was like a whole different person. It was like a distorted image before. Like you know, like in those fun houses, I would look in the mirror and what I saw was not what was there. You know, I'm conscious of that now, but now I was just like, is that me?
Like,
I don't look so bad. I'm not as big as I thought I was.
That far.
Yes, I was like, you know, God was like, feel yourself, girl. It's okay. It's okay. I was like, are you sure?
That's it.
I was like,
You better, girl, every day.
Yes. And then having my daughter, woo.
She got a mini her.
Yes, that really set me off. I think she was the catalyst for wanting to be better. I think I realized that when she came in, there were some chains I had to break. You know, the anger, because that's passed down. That's from somewhere. And I realized that she was starting to mimic my behaviors and the way things. And I was angry and upset, and now she's angry and upset and couldn't regulate her emotions. And I literally just had a moment of realization where I was like, oh my God, I'm passing this down to her. And then I was able to kind of like sit down and stem. Yeah, not only that, catch myself, I wanted to understand, where does this come from? Where did the anger come from? From there. That was like a whole nother storm.
Good for you,
of realization, yeah, but it's helped heal.
Really
Yeah, it's helped heal like my I'm noticing now she's speaking like I have the same when I'm starting realizing that my anger is about to. I breathe it out, just place my hands in my heart, breathe it out, and now my daughter. She goes, Mama, you want to breathe together?
How old is she?
She's 4. Or she knows that I love kisses and hugs. So whenever I'm getting a little upset and worked up, oh, you want to hug? You want to kiss? And she'll hug me and she'll kiss me. She'll say, are you better now? So she's keeping me in check a lot. That's when I realized that there's a smile to my face, and I'm just like, what am I doing? She's just being a kid, you know. It's so. Now I'm like, really?
Let me know.
Sorry, please help me. Yes, like I just want to be a better person. I want to be a friend. I want to be a better partner. I just want to please the divine. I just want to be kind of like Christ-like, I guess. You know, not in the
Absolutely.
You know, like how would God do things? How would Jesus react? How would He do this?
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but when you said Christ, it was like I got activated. Christ, a lot of people think is like a person.
Yes.
But it's not. It's a consciousness.
Yes.
And when they talk about Christ returning to earth, they're talking about that consciousness coming back to earth.
Yes.
So you're right. We're supposed to be doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
This is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's no coincidence that so many people are waking up. I've never in my life aligned with so many people on the same journey.
That part.
Yeah, I met another. And tomorrow I'm having breakfast with her, and she came from Mexico, and she's on her spiritual journey. Like it's amazing to be connecting with so many, you know.
Excuse me, sorry. I had no coffee, people. So
I know sometimes I make people yawn. So.
No,
it's okay.
It's the lack of coffee and trying to get everything together for
Yes,
this.
yeah. Like a start.
Yes, we did. This is a new space. This is
a new space. We're still trying to figure
everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming.
So yeah. So we're going to be taking on this. I can come with a plethora of different topics. So we can cover anything from spirituality, relationships, and you know, just give you our take on how we've dealt with things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're also going to be taking in questions from our listeners. We're going to take some time for you guys to, we are around and see that we're here to stay.
Yes. And if you guys have any suggestions on topics to cover, anything, then, you know,
you can message us. So you can message us on the Instagram platform, which is the SupaTea Podcast Show. SupaTea Podcast Show, it'll come right up.
Absolutely.
And you can listen to my other episodes. You hear some everything, me venting,
or even in the comment section. We're gonna go through all of that. So even if that's easier for you guys, then go ahead and do it in the comment section, and we'll make sure to go through everything, and we'll get through as many topics as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be here for a while.
Yes, we ain't going nowhere.
That part right there.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy that we finally got.
Yes, I know. We finally just wanted to come on here and introduce ourselves and just get started. Believe it or not, the hardest thing to anything is just taking action. And I realized that that's something that I learned through Master Sri Karshna, who we're under, and his biggest thing is taking action. And I realized that's the one thing I liked. I was always leading by fear. I was letting fear always lead, and I was like, oh, but I'm so scared, but who's going to listen to little old me? And I'm like, I have so much information and knowledge to share. Just my experience can resonate else and might make a difference. Experience, things that you have to say. So I finally realized, you know, okay, God was calling me, or the divine was what works best for her.
So whatever you're
conscious. So I just felt like I was led to, you know, share my experiences, share my story, because, you know, some of us, some of us have been able to transcend and transmute some of that energy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think that's important. I feel here in America, I mean, probably all over the place, but especially here in America as, I guess, ethnic people, there's so much like trauma, post-slavery trauma that we haven't dealt with, the oppression that our great-grandparents went through, injustices that they went through that made them kind of become those hard, angry people. You know, it wasn't because they didn't love us. You know, it was they wanted to protect us the best way. You know, and although we have different lifestyles now, there's still a lot of things that need to be addressed. You know, just systematic racism and a lot of different things in a lot of different areas in America that need to be addressed. So, like breaking those cycles is amazing.
Yes, and that's what we're
That's
here
what
for.
you're doing.
I think part of I mean, this is you know,
Yeah.
we're here to learn, and as much as some of you might resonate with this at the moment, you chose your life. You know, like you chose these experiences, these lessons, and I know some of you would choose to be abused, who would choose these kind of parents who, believe it or not, on the other side, don't understand what you're signing up for sometimes, and it's all
At all.
You really this on my plate. I want this experience. I want that. It's soul's growth. You know, I mean, how else will you understand compassion, empathy, forgiveness if you don't have a reason to have empathy or compassion or forgiveness in your heart? You know, so believe it or not, these experiences are meant to happen.
I'm still momming people.
Yes.
You know, he's an adult.
Yeah. So when you come here, you're here to learn a lot about yourself, to break the chains, break the cycles your parents may have done things that you didn't like, or you wish you could have done different, and you have the chance to do that with your own kid and, you know, pay it forward. So, yeah, so that's, you know. Sorry, I got a little distracted with muscles coming in the door.
This is my oldest, by the way. He's gonna come say hello.
How y'all doing?
You can come all the way in if you want to, but take your shoes off.
That's right. No shoes allowed.
Ow! Woo!
Okay.
One of these, what you call, were right in my nails. So I was opening, I got a boo-boo. You can't really see the boo-boo on my finger, people. But I was opening up my box. I'm still unpacking. And I was talking to my computer, because I be talking to my gadgets like, I love you so much. And the box went straight in and drew blood. And so it's still sore. It happened last night. So one of my sequences, when I went to go pull up my day, went right into the cut. Yeah. It's equivalent to when you have a fake nail on and you bang it and it splits in the middle. That's what it feels like, if that has ever happened to you. But, what was you last talking about?
Why we come here.
Oh,
lessons.
on Earth. Yes, I definitely, I had no clue. But, I mean, it got to the point, honestly, for me, that I remember being like in my 20s and really wanting to help people so much that I got on my knees and I asked God to allow me to help people. And like a week ago, I was like, you're fine. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that no more that way. I still want to help people. But that particular way, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it.
Well, I have to.
Because it's challenging.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, I felt like just screaming, you know, because it's so much. It's so much. If you listen to some of my you'll know that I have loved ones who have just overcome some astronomical mountains, you know, and it's a blessing that they have overcome them. But the process and assisting them and supporting them through it has been a whole lot, you know. So, by the grace, I'm here. That chapter is done, and we'll go further. We'll like have a whole episode talking about that, because I think that's something that not a lot of people talk about. They talk about like people afterwards, you know, but people don't really talk about the support systems, you know, and how the support systems are impacted when loved ones are not making the best choices for themselves, you know, and it impacts their loved ones, you know. And
Absolutely does.
we have to process it and release and allow God just to really take the reins, you know. And I had a joke I had with God, because I think God has a sense of humor, where I was like, God, I keep releasing this person, you keep bringing them right back to me. I guess you use me, huh?
Yes, or maybe you didn't learn your lesson. That's the sometimes they send it back to see if we learn. You know, because that's what I realized, because I've had friends where I stop talking to, they'll come back, I stop talking, they'll come back, and I'm like, well, what I heard from God was like, well, I try to warn you the first couple times when I remove that person from your life. So I think it's accountability on us to, well, that's one thing that I learned on this journey, is that forgiveness doesn't mean that that person has to be a part of your life.
True.
So I had to learn that it's okay to forgive someone, but we might be in completely different places in our lives where we're just not resonating with each other. There's something within people that allows them to hurt you, and hurt people. So if you find yourself around people or friends that aren't trying to do better, or just use an excuse, well, I was mad. There's no excuse for talking to someone a certain way. There's no excuse for anything like that. If people are not, and not that you always have to be on the same journey. Your friends could have their own thing going on, but I think across the board, respect has to be there. You know,
I agree.
You know, boundaries need to be met, and you know, that's one thing I didn't have before that I've had to learn to place in my life. You know, to set boundaries, to be okay with forgiving someone. It doesn't mean that I have to continue the friendship the way it was. Like, I can just check in, say hello, Merry Christmas, how are you? Because at the end of the day, we're all actors. These are all costumes we're wearing. I know this person signed up to hurt me so that I would learn how to set boundaries. You know, so when I say, who would choose hurt and pain, but if you need to learn how to set boundaries for yourself, if you're someone that doesn't know how to do that, well, then God is going to have to put something along your path for you to understand what a boundary is and how to set them, you know? So that's what I see. I see like all of these challenges where they come in now. I've never cried. Now I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this? What did I learn? What's, you know, what's behind this? Show me.
How am I going to grow?
Yes.
That's why I found different challenges that I have grown to measures that if somebody would have sat down and had a discussion with me, I would have like, hell no. No way I could get through that. No way I can go through that. No way I could. No. And then the challenges have come, and then I'm here, and I'm like, oh shit, and I'm a better person.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yes. I'm like,
what the fuck? I don't even know, God. I don't even know. Like, what's happening here? So yeah, everything happens for a reason, and like even this. Let's tell them how we met.
Oh, okay, sure. So well, I was doing Uber. Uber is something I do part-time. Well, when I first left my job, I was trying to figure things out, and I was like, what am I going to do? I QHHE, studying metaphysics, and every time I tried to find a job, the door was closed. I mean, I have a pretty impressive resume to the point where it looks fake. Like some people like think it's fake, and what's on there is real.
You look like a teenager, right? But
I started earlier in life, and then I went from like being an assistant to operations manager to you know, one of the top salespeople. It's like it looks fake when you look at it. But anyways, I tried to come with the job, and nothing. Like nobody would call me back, and nobody would hire me. Even when they were so impressed with me in the interview, like, okay, we're gonna call you back, and this is gonna be great, and then it's a no. And I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? And then my sister was like, do Uber. And I was like, Uber? Maybe? Like, not that it was beneath me. It's not that it was beneath me. It's not anything. I'm just like, sales and marketing to Uber? Like, I just didn't get it. I was like,
many people are doing
fine, but I needed money. My savings, I had money saved up, you know, before I quit my job. And there were so many things. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do Uber. And through Uber, I picked up a certain passenger in an area that I dropped off somebody in an area, and I was driving away, and something inside said drive back to that area. So I was driving back to the New York Penn Station area, and right there,
it was me, people. Mind you, yes. I was in such a moment at that moment. Like, I was temporarily displaced, didn't have a home of my own, and so I had purposely went into a space where the energy was more up, more higher frequency, because that other space was just crazy type of energies here. 300 people, all different types of demographics. You had addicts there, you had mentally ill people there, you had old people there, young people there. It was just 300 of that. You know, that was energies, you know. So I was sitting at Gateway, you know, because Gateway is a business place, and da-da-da-da. And so I had some clarity as I was sitting there in the public area, and I was like, maybe I should give this attorney another try. And I already had a funny experience with this particular attorney, but I was like, I'm gonna give them a second try, you know? So I called them, they sent me an Uber to go to the doctor, and this was the person who picked me up. Mind you, the connection was so divine. She started talking about metaphysics, and I was like, that's how I was, like a big kid in the back seat, like, oh my God, this is
How
what I'm
did we
doing.
get started on that?
I don't even know.
We were talking. Well, I don't even remember how we just started talking. I don't even know how it happened. We just started talking, and I realized you were spiritual by the way you were speaking.
Yeah.
And I think that opened the door for me to be like,
Gotcha.
okay, so it's spiritual.
And it was amazing. Like, it was so amazing that when I got out of the Uber, I went to a different floor than the floor I was supposed to go to. And met another attorney.
Wow.
And I was so confused for a second, like, wait a minute, but I swore this is. But I was just so, like, filled up, like, just spiritually filled up. And I don't even go to that attorney no more. I don't even go to that place no more.
Wow.
So it was just literally me deciding something positive, taking action, and then boom, alignment. That's how it happened. That's how it happened. I think that's a formula you guys can take and use. Be like, you know, changing like how you're thinking. Instead of thinking doubtful, think hopeful.
Yes.
Because even if that particular situation don't work out, something good is going to happen from you having that hopeful thought and putting yourself in that vibration. You feel different when you feel hopeful. Like you feel like, you know, it could go good. It could be good. You know, you start feeling like the good is there already, and you just like take action in that, and you just keep like that's the formula.
Mm-hmm.
Change the vibration, take action. Change the vibration, take action.
And learning to listen, because I think for me that was one of the biggest struggles. I remember looking into all of this stuff, and people were like, yes, so my guides tell me this, and my guides, and I'm like, I don't hear any voices. Like, I was expecting to hear voices, and I didn't understand what it meant. Yeah, it's very different. It's so subtle that you have to learn to hear that voice. It's your own voice within. It sounds like you, but it's not you. It's hard to explain, and it's like you picture you asking a question out of randomly and then receiving an answer that you didn't know the answer to.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, it's just like, okay, what am I gonna do? But all of a sudden you have this idea that you just never thought. Like, so a lot of you guys, when you think you have hunches for these ideas, it's actually your guides feeding you. And it becomes even more beautiful when you're aware of that. When you start to realize that something is communicating with you. And that's actually how I started my journey, when I realized that I was like, I think we spoke about that when I was like.
That's phenomenal. You want to tell them about it?
I could tell them about it. All right, so where do we start?
The birds. Start at the birds. So it started like she's in the car with her family, and they're driving, and she's asking a question.
Yeah, I had just found North Node information about the North Nodes, and I was just so amazed by this information. I was like, what do you mean a North Node? What is this? You mean you can find out where your life lessons are supposed to be while you're here? Why does everybody know what their zodiac sign is, but nobody knows what their North Node is? So New Year's 2020 going into 2021, my cousin Rosie, our other co-host,
during the pandemic, people.
Yes, suggested that we rent a cabin and we go away for the weekend. Just to get away from things, just set it in a new environment. And wonderful. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm down, let's go. And when we get there, we're driving and we realize that there's crosses lit up everywhere. Unbeknownst to Rosie and any of us, she had actually booked it in a spiritual place. She had no idea. She just thought we were renting cabins, and it happened to be in some Christian place. And I was like, okay, what are we doing here? We're all pot smokers. We were supposed to be drinking and smoking for the weekend and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. How I feel bad doing this. A lit up cross right in front of our window. And we were like, little did I know that was divine intervention, because after what happened, I realized I was supposed to be there. That was exactly where I was supposed to be that weekend.
All the time.
Yeah, so New Year's Day, so New Year's Eve happens, New Year's Day, I'm in the cabin, we have two cabins across from each other. I decide to go on over to the other cabin where my cousin was, And I noticed that she and her husband at the time were getting dressed to leave. And I don't know why I had this feeling that I should go with them. And I immediately interrupted and I said, wait, can I come with you guys? And unless it's like a romantic, scenic drive you guys are going for, they said, no, of course you can come with us. And as I'm on the driveway there, I'm having conversations about North Nodes. It was received so well by everyone else who had gone with us. And then we have big skeptic person, Ben, Rosie's then husband at the time. And I'm like telling him about North Nodes and showing him a little bit about the stuff that I've learned through spirituality, the tarot that I found on YouTube. And I'm like, look, how could they possibly know? But look, what if something smacks you? So you're going to tell me that you won't believe in something otherworldly, even if it smacks you in your face? He was like, well, I would have to see it. And I was like, okay, but I challenged him and he was starting to question a little bit because some of the things I was showing him, he was also like, But no. A Virgo understands another Virgo. We're skeptics. I was still skeptic, but starting to believe. And then I sit back, because he's driving, Rosie's in the passenger seat, and I'm in the back behind the passenger seat. And I, for the first time, really talked to God. And I realized, I think I know what you're calling me to do. I think you want me to help, to spread information. I don't know how I was receiving it in that moment, but for some reason I felt like I was supposed to spread awareness on things, like how well this North Node thing was received by so many people who didn't know about it. And I was like, okay, I think you want me to dabble in this, and a bird flies by. Now, why the bird is important, because as I found tarot on YouTube, there was some information, there was something that came up, and it was like, oh, look for birds as a sign. So when the bird flew by, I was like, God, you heard me? Is that you telling me I'm right? Like, I'm supposed to know? I'm like, please, now, now every time I see a bird, I'm going to think that, God is talking to me. It's a sign. And as soon as I'm thinking that, 2 more birds come by. And I was like,
Oh my God.
I was like, get out of here. That's nothing. It's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. And then again, 3 or 4 birds fly by, and then I'm like, wait, this just cannot be a coincidence. And I was like, but still, I'm like, whatever. And as I'm like, was that? And as I said, was that? And I look up outside the window, all the way far right, it's like 100 birds out of nowhere. And I was so excited about these birds that I literally blinked for 1 second and came up to the front between the passenger and the driver's seat. And do you guys see those birds? I couldn't even finish the word birds because they were nowhere to be seen. They were gone. They were nowhere to be seen. They were gone. And I was like, the birds, they were right there. They were like, Leticia, what birds? What are you talking about? They were looking at me like I had 10 heads. And I was like, the birds, they were right there. I'm telling you, it was hundreds and hundreds of birds. And as I'm looking to the driver, and I'm going to tell him, you didn't see it? I see the birds that should have been all the way far right, all the way far left. It was impossible for them to have been 1 and 2 places, but this time they're in the shape of a large V. Picture like one large V and another small V right next to it, a bird formation flying this way. And the minute I said those birds and pointed to the birds, they froze in midair. I'm so serious. They froze in midair, and in that same V formation flew directly in front of our car, right up above, and both the larger V and the smaller V reshaped into a large L in the sky.
Woo! I love it.
Y'all, my name is Leticia. My name starts with the letter L. And I went into I was hyperventilating. I just started crying. I didn't understand what was happening. I was like, what is going on? It's an L. It's an L. It's an L. I just started repeating over and over. And I couldn't believe it. It's turning into an L because it's like these one large V and a small V. I don't know what's happening. I just see something forming. And when I realized it's an L, I realized,
that's amazing.
Whoa! I didn't believe with the first couple of birds now. It was like God was telling me, doubt this, sister.
Can't doubt that part.
Doubt this one, okay? And I just started bawling hysterical, and I didn't understand why I was crying, so I said it out loud, and I was like, why am I crying? And my beautiful, wonderful, amazing cousin, co-host, Rosie, turns back and says, duh, you're having a spiritual awakening. Like, stupid, you can't see it? And I'm just like, oh, what? What is that? What's a spiritual awakening? I had no idea what that was. And I actually didn't finish telling you what happened. So I went back to the cabin after that, and I was enveloped in this white light. I still even get emotional when I think about it. And I was just in the mirror talking with God and asking for forgiveness. I don't know why I thought to say that. I just kept saying, I'm sorry for forgetting. I'm sorry for forgetting. I felt like such a fool. I felt like I was unworthy of even being called by him because I've done so much that I felt like he would not be proud of. That in that moment, I was just like, how could you want little old me to come work for you? I felt like I was a nobody.
Unconditional.
Yeah, and I just felt this light come over me, and it was just like me and God in that moment, and it was just like me asking for forgiveness, and it was so great. It was just so gracious. I just felt so much love and compassion, like there was nothing to be sorry about. But I felt like I needed God to know that I was sorry for forgetting. Forgetting what? I have no idea. I literally said
forgetting that she's an angel, an earth angel, and she came here for a mission. I think that's what I think. She had forgot.
Yeah.
She got caught into this earthly shit and thought that was what life was about. And it's not. It's just like we're divine. And obviously she's divine. And I think that she forgot. I think you forgot your
I forgot my divinity. God was gracious enough to remind me. In such a dramatic way, because I'm a dramatic person and I need the drama.
And it ain't too much, okay?
Okay, I needed that.
And I want you all to know she's a classy lady.
You gotta stop. That's an inside joke. We're gonna leave that one alone.
I want y'all all to know. Whoever watching, she's a classy lady. Okay? We classy ladies, all right?
You're mad for that one.
Come out and that.
Ultimately, I'm saying,
yes, but I felt God's calling after that, and that's what, just Rosie saying those words to me.
You wrote it in
You're having a
text.
spiritual awakening. I literally Googled what is a spiritual awakening, and dove head first.
Awesome. And here we are. And I just want y'all all to know that divinity is in all of us. So it's amazing, her experience. Everybody's experience is going to be unique, but just know that and look for that and ask for that and tap into that and let that lead your life, man. And you will have some things that happen now. I ain't gonna say like, oh, you do that and it's gonna be ba-da-da and everything. That's not how it's gonna go, because you literally, you have to go all the way into your divinity. You can't just like take little spoonfuls, like, I had a moment, okay, now let me go back and do some ratchet shit. Like, no, you gotta devote yourself to getting to know what that is. Like on a daily, you brush your teeth every day, you gotta tap into that divinity every day. Ask it, talk to it, in your mind, in your prayer, write it down. However you feel good to do it, just do it, because that is going to transform you, make you more aware, and push you in the right direction to where your life is going to feel more fulfilling. You're going to have that peace. You're going to have that just certainty, like everything's working out. Even when you don't consciously, even your mind can be like, what the fuck? How is it going to work out? It's like, no, what are you supposed to be doing? Go to the divine and let that lead you to the next step. And you just take one step at a time. Like, you don't have to see everything laid out. Just take one step at a time, but know where you want to go. And know wherever you want to go, wherever you started, you can get there.
Yes, and it's not always peaches and cream. Like,
no.
I made it sound a lot fluffier than what it was because I did have a catalyst. So a lot of times it's not like, oh, can I just go with you in something? Usually there's something that pushes you into that. And there was a situation that pushed me into that I was left like, what is going on here? And that's when things started to trigger because I finally started to stand up for myself. I started to question things like I never had before because I trusted other people more than myself. I trusted that that person was right about the way things are and I'm the one who should be sorry even when I shouldn't have. I was so naive, y'all, when I tell you God gifted me with discernment, something I did not have before. I did not have discernment, and by the grace of God, I'm so lucky to even be gifted with such a gift because the ability to see beyond the veil is just, it's a gift within itself, and this comes with other gifts. You know, we all have them within us, and it's learning to unlock those gifts, and I think that's what we want to
Help you guys
do. Yeah.
There we go. I love it. So, you want to say something? My son wants to say something, people.
These are two of my favorite ladies here. I hope y'all enjoyed the show.
Thank you. That's a good one to end it on.
Yes.
A good note to end it on.
And we're going to end it right now. So thank you. Tune in next Sunday. We will do our very best to be on time.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to do our best, all right?
Yes.
And
don't forget those
We'll be
topics,
here.
guys. Leave it in the comments.
Yes.
Contact us if you guys want any topics that you want us to cover. Anything at all, commentating on anything. Just whatever you guys need us to cover, we got you.
awesome. I love it. Good job, girl.